Hello, everybody, and welcome to Testa and Neal Keep It Real right here on this Wednesday afternoon. I'm Shea Neal, alongside with me, Parker Testa. Again, we're back to the two different states, the two different studios. It's a little weird, but now we know to turn our cameras off during the commercial break, so we should be a little bit better today.
Yes, we should. We're learning. We're learning as we go.
We appreciate the feedback, but we're learning. We have a lot to get into today. Spencer Turnbull threw a no-hitter last night. After most people went to bed, he was out in Seattle and he threw a no-no. Is this the year of the no-no? I mean, we've already had, what, 5? Maybe 6? I think 5, but that's insane. Musgrove, Means, Miley. Who was the other one? Oh, crap. I put myself on the spot.
Chicago. Rodon.
There you go. I was going to say, I put myself on the spot and I can't deliver. But yeah, 5 no-hitters in a month and a half. What a ridiculous start to the season. The year of the pitcher, if you will. Also, is Luis Castillo back? Kind of. We'll talk about that a little bit. Tony La Russa is a boob. And I will get into that in a few minutes. We said like 2 days ago on Friday, or 2 shows ago, that, I didn't agree with the hire, but he's got the White Sox in first place. You can't argue. I'm going to argue. What he said a day and a half ago is so incredibly stupid that it makes me upset.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of situation with what Chris Woodward did last year with Tatis. Same kind of deal. It's just guys who love old school baseball, and I'm guilty of it. I love old school baseball, but this kind of old school baseball, I don't agree with.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I'll rant about this in just a few minutes, so I'm gonna save all my bullets in the chamber right now. But also later on, I mean, our Pacers. What the hell happened with the Pacers yesterday? They looked like a competent basketball team.
I have no words. I mean, if you're watching our YouTube video, I'm literally have my hands above my head. I don't know what happened. I guess they had some sort of epiphany that they could be good.
I guess they figured it out. The ghost of Nate McMillan passed.
They got rid of old Nate, and now new Nate thinks that they're really good.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But we'll get into the NBA playing games from the East last night. The West is tonight, so a lot to get into there. Also coming up, Wright State. A little bit of Wright State talk today. I know we've been doing a lot of kind of national topics, but Wright State, both men and women look like they might have the men have a new coach, and the women look like they might have a new coach. So we'll break that down. Exciting times for the basketball programs. Also, in hour number 2, which franchise has been the most successful across each major sport in the 21st century? There's a lot of debate for this one. Is it Lakers? Is it Celtics? Is it Spurs? Is it Warriors? Is it the Miami Heat? There's a lot. That's just basketball. We can get in a ton of different sports, but that's going to be fun as well. And then also finally, we'll take your questions, of course, always your thoughts, your opinions. Follow us on social media at ESPN Shea Neal, at Parker Testa. We are back on YouTube today. If you missed us yesterday, I doubt you did because we have faces for radio, but we are back today with the video feed, and we appreciate you hanging out with us on WWSU or on YouTube. However you are hanging out with us, the ratings on this show have been ridiculous, and let's keep it going, shall we?
Yeah, let's go. I know we've talked about it constantly, but we can't stress it enough how appreciative we are of the support we've gotten so far for this show, and it's just been a blast. So thank you all so much for the support, and we hope we can continue to entertain you. And if we don't, that's okay. We're gonna keep doing the show anyway.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And another thing I learned from Monday is that when we debut the video stream on YouTube, I forget when we went to commercial break and came back. So I just kind of had to guess and check. Today I'm writing down my times. So I'm going to be better about that. So look at me learning.
Attaboy, you're learning. Yeah, good job.
I appreciate it. It's not putting the Bengals in second, but it's something. I'm surprised you didn't get anyone calling you out on Twitter last night.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people agree, or they just think it's so stupid that they don't want to entertain the conversation.
They think it's such a dumb take that you just embarrass yourself. They don't even need to participate.
I'm just trying to be more and more like Skip Bayless every day.
That's not good. Oh no. All right, well, let's get into the MLB. That's what we're kicking off the show with today. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on WWSU or our YouTube feed, however you are chilling with us here this afternoon. Spencer Turnbull throws a no-hitter last night for the Detroit Tigers. I almost said the Texas Rangers, but the Detroit Tigers. He spent his first 50 major league outings as a pitcher who struggled. He went 3-17 2 years ago for the last place Tigers in 2019. And now he throws a no hitter. And that's just the beauty of baseball. We've talked about it before, Parker. I mean, it's always the most unlikely heroes. Carlos Rodon, Wade Miley, Joe Musgrove, and John Means. They're good pitchers, but you wouldn't expect them to throw a no hitter. Guys like DeGrom, guys like Garrett Cole have never thrown a no. And then you get guys like Wade Miley and Spencer Turnbull that do it on random nights. It's the beauty of baseball.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We talk about it all the time. It's what is the most entertaining aspect of baseball, and it's I mean any given team can win on any given day, unless you're the Pittsburgh Pirates. But you I mean
It took me
that's
5 seconds to process that, unless you're the Pittsburgh Pirates.
But yeah, I mean it's what's most entertaining about baseball, and that's any given team can win on any given day, and any given pitcher can throw a no hitter on any given day, and that's what we've seen this year with like I think 5 so far this year. So it's been a blast to watch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And 5 no hitters on May 19th. I think that's what we're sitting at. May 19th. Yeah, May 19th. 5 no hitters. The season started on April 1st. That's a little over 6 weeks. We have 5 no hitters. We're getting more than we're getting a no hitter a week, Parker, almost. That's insane.
No doubt about it. I mean, I'm okay with it. I love when pitchers have success. I know we're gonna fangirl about Shohei Ohtani here in a little bit, but I just love. I mean, I'm just a big pitcher fan. As entertaining as home runs are, I am more satisfied by a nasty curveball or a
Agreed.
103 mile an hour fastball that I rolled a Chapman through last night to close out the game. Um, but
Chapman's been elite this year. That's kind of off topic, but it looks like Chapman's back to prime Cuban Missile this year.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just classic baseball that I think we all love so much, and that's just when pitchers are successful and when they just mow guys down, and that's what we've seen in the 5 no hitters this year. I mean, I don't know why the hell I was up late last night, but I was. Finished off that Tigers game. Saw the end of it. So, great for Spencer Turnbull. Great for the Tigers, who haven't had a whole lot to cheer about. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And like I said, went 3-17 in 2019, but they get a 5-0 win against the Mariners. The 8th no hitter in Tigers history, the first since Justin Verlander. It's the 5th no hitter in the majors this year, and the second thrown against the Mariners in 2 weeks when John Means did it on May 5th as well. So, what a night for the Detroit Tigers, like you said. Not a lot to cheer about this year, but they get. God, I'm getting exposed.
It's early. It's
we're
early.
in the morning, and I am getting exposed right now. But um, 5 no hitters, and that's insane. And like I said, 2014 second round pick, but he has a career 9-25 career record with a 4.5 ERA. What a night for him, and what a night for the Tigers. Just a great performance by Spencer Turnbull. And I mean, he pitched great start to finish, and you obviously can't throw a no hitter unless you're pitched great start to finish. Now sits on the year 3-2 with a 3.4. So maybe this is Spencer Turnbull's breakout year finally.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, like I said, the Tigers haven't had a whole lot to cheer about in quite a while. And I know a lot of Tigers fans were quite upset with the fact that AJ Hinch got the manager job there, but he hasn't had a whole lot to work with. For what he's had to work with, I think the Tigers are in the best possible scenario right now under AJ Hinch. So Great for Spencer Turnbull. And I just I'm kind of a little, I guess I could say I'm a little bit biased, I guess. I cheer for I find myself cheering for the Tigers more than most people should, but yeah, it's just great to see that for Spencer Turnbull, and great to see that for Detroit and Tigers.
Yeah, for sure. And so Spencer Turnbull throws a no-hitter in Seattle last night after most people fall asleep. If you're just now joining us, Tigers win at 5-0 over the Mariners. Luis Castillo. I watched Reds Giants last night. I'm a Reds fan. People know that. But Luis Castillo, I am having difficulty just thinking about how I want to say how Luis Castillo did last night, because he, for the first time all season long, had his strikeout stuff. He had, I think, 12 strikeouts in 5 innings. He was really, really good with swing and miss stuff. And that's something he struggled with all year. And he said in the press conference after the game that he felt like it was 3 steps forward because he finally had control of all his pitches. But he gave up a 3-run homer, and the Reds offense could not bail him out. And the Reds fall again 4-2 to the Giants. The Giants still continue to find ways to win. The Reds now drop to 19-21, and Luis Castillo now sits 1-6 with an ERA just below 7. So it has not been the year of Luis Castillo, but definitely, I think, a promising sign last night that he's starting to move in the right direction.
Yeah, he's been, I mean, like you said, he hasn't been the Luis Castillo that we're accustomed to seeing in recent years. He hasn't had a whole lot of success this season with that ERA hovering around 7 for most of the year. But I think that Castillo we've all seen the talent that he has and what his potential is, and I think at some point he will kind of, I don't want to say fall back to earth a little bit, because he hasn't been too great, but I think we will kind of see that Luis Castillo of old at some point as we get into the dog days here coming up in June and July. I think he'll start to have a little bit more success. I think he'll start winning some games, and hopefully the Reds can start winning some games as well.
Yep, the Reds, the dictionary definition of inconsistency. I mean, that's been a thing for a long, long time. The Cincinnati Reds are just absolutely brutal when it comes to not playing with any sort of consistency. So we'll see if they do get it figured out. I think they still have the talent on this roster to win the division. But I mean, teams like the Cardinals and teams like the Brewers are playing more consistent than the Reds right now. And that's been the difference in the division. The Reds still only sit, I think, 3.5 games back. So they're well within striking distance, and there's a lot of season to go. But a team like the Cardinals is not going to make that many mistakes throughout the course of the season. So if you fall, 6, 7, 8 games back, you're done. You're not catching that team. You got to keep it close. And the Reds know that. And right now, it's within striking distance, but they got to figure out something quick, or else the Cardinals are going to pull away.
Yeah. The Cardinals have been, the Cardinals and the Brewers have been the top heavy favorites of the Central in recent years, other than the Cubs, who won the series in 2016. But the Brewers and the Cardinals have been the 2 top heavy teams in the Central for the last 3-4 years now. So I think if the Reds can continue to if they can find some consistency, which you just said has not been their thing forever, if they can find some consistency and win 2 out of 3 consistently, that'll get them back into their season, and hopefully they can win at least 80 games this year, because I think they're more than capable of winning at least 80 games.
I think they're capable of winning somewhere between 85 and 92 personally, but the way they're playing right now, like I said, they're allergic to getting over 500. So I can tell you right now, they'll finish 80 and 82 because that's the way they're playing right now.
Yeah. There's certain teams that you just know are going to go 500, the Detroit Lions, the Cincinnati Reds, the Indiana Pacers,
the Rams when Jeff Fisher was coach.
Exactly. Any Jeff Fisher coach team is going to go 7-9 or 8-8. You just know it. So yeah, I mean, the Reds have the talent is definitely there for the Reds. They just need the David Bell and company just needs to find a way to utilize that talent appropriately and just start winning games consistently.
All right, well, let's quit wasting time. Let's get into Tony LaRussa, the donkey of the day. Here we go.
I think that's a new segment, Donkey of the
Donkey of the
Day.
day. Well, there's radio shows that do donkey of the day. You talk about the like like the biggest L of the day. So yeah, I guess we could turn it into something that the I don't know, the human but no, Tony La Russa, on Friday, he couldn't give me 48 hours to say that he's had a good year and he has the White Sox in first before your mean Mercedes hits an absolute tank into dead center field to give the White Sox a run. I think they won 16-4 or something like that. In the ninth inning, he swung on a 3-0 count with Williams Astudillo, a position player, pitching. Tony La Russa was not happy about it. He said, "Your mean will be punished. It was a silly mistake, and it will not happen again." And your mean said in his press conference yesterday, "I'm going to continue to play the way I play," and I respect that. But your mean Mercedes, I tweeted and I quote. I read this tweet from Jesse Rogers, who writes for the Cubs for MLB.com and ESPN. They said, "Here's when the story broke," and this is like 36 hours ago at this point. But he said, Tony La Russa called it a big mistake for your mean Mercedes swinging at the 3-0 pitch from Williams Astudillo, admitting there will be consequences. Said La Russa, "That's just sportsmanship. Respect for the game, respect for the opponent. He's not going to do that again." And my response, and I quote, "Boo, hush yourself, boomer. The Yerminator is elite." And I still stand by that.
You know, it's an interesting topic. Like I said earlier in the show, I am guilty of being a old school baseball fan. I don't like analytics in baseball. I think the shift is really dumb. I think that um, baseball or especially hitters are babies. I think analytics has ruined baseball, but this is something that I agree with the new era of baseball on, if you will. If it's a 3-0 count and you get a fastball down the middle, I'm going to swing at it.
Yeah.
You're supposed to swing at it.
Yeah.
And people like Tony La Russa, people like Chris Woodward don't agree with that. What do you want them to take a strike on a 95-mile-an-hour
Right.
fastball if it's down the middle? No, hit it and hit it out. You know, it's something that the new era of baseball is something, like I said, a lot of it I don't disagree with, but if you get a just and like a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that's right over the heart of the plate is like your greatest Christmas gift on Christmas morning.
Right.
I'm gonna tear into that, and I want to get that present, and that present is a 450-foot bomb that lands into McCovey Cove in San Francisco.
Go fishing out of the ocean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as much as I love Tony La Russa and I love how great he is at his job and he's a Hall of Fame manager, I disagree with him on this. I mean,
Yeah, and you're being nicer to him than I am. But I've said this on the show before, but I was told from a very young age, at like 11 years old, as a pitcher, if you don't want somebody, I had friends on the other teams, I had friends in the league, but if you don't want somebody to hit an absolute moonshot and then stunt on you, don't give up the moonshot. That's as simple as that. Just pitch better.
yeah. And that's when I coached Little League for a couple years, and that's what I told my players. If you don't want to give up a home run, don't throw a bad pitch.
Well, and that's what ticks me off about Major League Baseball is that, and you see, I caught myself that time. No, but only real ones get what that reference was to. It irks me that we're taught from a very young age when we play baseball as kids, have fun with it, enjoy it, celebrate the goods, don't hang your head on the lows. But you get to professional baseball, and God forbid you have any sort of fun playing the game, and you get Kevin Pillar and get a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to your nose.
Yeah, and we talked about, and that's something that baseball is supposed to be fun. As much as at the pro level, and even as you get into high school and college level ball, I mean, you take it seriously to an extent. There's a line there.
Oh yeah.
Baseball is supposed to be fun. As much as you take it seriously, what's the game about? It's about having fun. You go out there and you play a sport that America loves. You play a sport that's the American pastime, and you just go out there and you have fun. And
Yep.
people like Tony La Russa and Chris Woodward aren't making it fun.
They're anti-fun.
They're the fun police, if you will.
They're the fun police. There you go. Yep, no doubt about it. But I think it bugs me that it's like half of these guys in the majors. I mean, why did they keep playing baseball from 5 to 35? Because they enjoyed it, because they love the game. And then why do sports like the NFL and the NBA thrive? Because they let their players show emotion. They let their players have opinions. They let their players have passion for the game. But if, God forbid, a player like Nick Castellanos hits a flex on a pitcher that, hit him an at bat earlier, sliding into home plate, not putting his hands on anyone, just flexing, you get suspended 2 games and an undisclosed fine because Rob Manfred is what's wrong with professional baseball.
Exactly. I mean, I talked about it on my show here this spring. I know we've talked about it multiple times on this show that neither of us like Rob Manfred.
Yeah.
And that's why I think players like Trevor Bauer are great for the game of baseball, because he's said multiple times that if you hit a home run, you celebrate, he doesn't care. Congratulations, you hit a home run. Good job.
You got it.
And on the flip side of that, if I strike you out for the second time in the game, I'm going to yell at the top of my lungs, and I'm going to do that strut that he does, because it's supposed to be fun. You're having fun. Go out there and have fun. Who cares about the consequences? If you get suspended, so what? It's fun.
No doubt about it. And it's so frustrating because they have players with amazing personalities like Mookie Betts, Nick Castellanos. I can't share the video that I sent you last night on Twitter on air, but that video that I sent you last night of Nick Castellanos has been the people's champ this year. That dude is goated.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, though I know I think I sent you this video, but there's a guy or I think Castellanos said something about
oh yeah, the fan told him. The
fan. Yeah, that's what it was.
There was a fan that said, "Pretend Rob Manfred's face is on the ball," and then the next pitch he hits it out of Coors Field. And so and then after the game, when Jim Day, the Reds post game host, asked Nick Castellanos what was going through his head, he brought the fan onto the post game show to tell the story. And I'm like, Nick Castellanos just wants to have fun, man. And he's the kind of personality that baseball needs, along with Trevor Bauer, along with Fernando Tatis Jr., along with Tim Anderson. Let these kids play the game the way it was meant to be played.
Yes, I'm looking at the video right now, and then the caption says, Nick Castellanos fist bumped a fan after a home run, and then let the fan tell the broadcast team after the game. He said, I quote, I told Nick he should imagine Rob Manfred's face on the baseball. There's literally this fan with the broadcast headset on, wearing a Castellanos jersey and a Reds hat, and then through the netting at GABP.
And if you're watching us on the YouTube feed, Castellanos hits the the kind of crossed arm side look, and that's like now every single Reds fan's profile picture on Twitter.
This look,
just hitting this.
He's got the backwards camo hat on, and just
dude. Castellanos is that dude that I wish. If Castellanos went to college at the same time as me, he's the dude I want to be like my frat president, because this dude just he chugs beers on the weekend, and he's just a dude you hang out with. He's one of the boys.
He's like David Bakhtiari
exactly
at Milwaukee Bucks games.
I mean, here it's just sitting here in Fairborn, Ohio. Like WOs or Wandering Griffin with Nick Castellanos. Like he just seems like that kind of dude.
Yes.
But yeah, he's been an absolute breath of fresh air for the Cincinnati Reds. He's probably been the player with the most passion and the most fire under him since Brandon Phillips in Cincinnati. And it's something that the Reds desperately needed, where Nick Castellanos has said that, or Joey Votto. I mean, Joey Votto's been the Reds' best player for 15 years, but Joey Votto's not really an alpha dog. I mean, he kind of leads by example. He's not a vocal leader. He's kind of a quiet guy. Nick Castellanos came into Cincinnati and grabbed this team by the nuts. I mean, this is his team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, as much as Joey Votto is revered and loved, and I mean, just every
Of
great word
course,
comes to mind.
Cincinnati fans will never have a bad thing to say about Joey Votto.
No, no, not at all. And just as much as he is beloved and revered by Cincinnati baseball fans, Nick Castellanos is the new guy in town,
Yeah.
and he's like, here, how do I put this in layman's terms? He is like uh, the hot new girlfriend that you date after being in a long relationship.
Yeah.
That is what Nick
Well,
Castellanos is
like,
to
yeah,
Cincinnati
exactly.
baseball
That's
fans.
exactly what it is. I'm glad that's a perfect example because it's like Joey Votto's like, the girl that you've been like, she's okay for like, 4 or 5 years. Like, hey, I mean, if something happens, something happens, but I'm not going to force anything. And then Nick Castellanos is the new transfer girl. And it's like, oh, okay, we got something now.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it is.
the gorgeous new girl at school.
Yeah, exactly. We got a new head cheerleader in town. And her name is Nikki. Yeah, no, Nick Castellanos has been an absolute treat in Cincinnati, and he has an opt out at the end of the season, and I really hope he doesn't take it because I would love to see him as a Red for the rest of his career.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, Castellanos has been great.
I can't believe the Cubs let him walk.
He was great in Detroit, and of course the Tigers trade all their good players, so they traded him to Chicago, and he was great with the Cubs last year. But he's become a new player in Cincinnati.
Well, this is one of what somebody sent me a couple days ago on Twitter. Actually, they said, in my opinion, Nick Castellanos was being held back in Detroit because of the park, where he was an above-average hitter in Detroit, but because the park is so big, he never got a chance to fully break out. When he got traded to the Cubs, and then when he signed with the Reds, he turned into a true superstar. I think that's true.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Castellanos. I mean, what else can we say about Castellanos that hasn't been said already? He's just
He's
great for the
fun.
game.
Yeah, he's fun. He's exactly what baseball needs more of.
Exactly. It's just the definition of fun for Castellanos right now.
No doubt about it. Him and Winker are single-handedly carrying the Reds right now, so we'll take it. The Reds had 7 hits last night in the game. 4 of them were by Winker and Castellanos. So that's just kind of how the season's gone. All right. Well, we're going to take our first break of the show. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We're about 30 minutes in, but we appreciate you hanging out with us here on WWSU 106.9 or our YouTube feed. However you're listening to us, we do appreciate it. So thank you. We will be back in just a couple minutes. And when we do come back, Parker, I'll let you. Do you want to talk NBA next, or do you want to get into the new Wright State coaches?
Let me fangirl about the Pacers for a little bit.
All right.
I haven't had a whole lot to love about the Pacers this year, but last night I was in love.
All right, we'll find. We'll come back with the NBA play-in tournament. The Celtics, Wizards, Hornets, and Pacers all in action last night, and tonight it's round 2 with the Spurs, Lakers, Warriors, and who am I forgetting? Uh
Uh-oh.
oh no. Oh God.
Okay.
It's not the Kings.
Lakers, Warriors, Spurs, Grizzlies.
Grizzlies. There we go. Ja Morant. Grizzlies and Spurs and Lakers and Warriors in action tonight. So we're going to break down all 4 of those games when we come back to finish off hour number 1. Testa and Neal, keep it real. You keep it locked. We'll be right back after this. Back here on Testa and Neal, keep it real. I'm Shea Neal, alongside with me, Parker Testa. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on WWSU 106.9 FM, Fairborn, Dayton, Dayton's right choice. We're about halfway through the first hour, give or take a few minutes, and we opened the show ranting about Tony LaRussa and baseball being dumb sometimes, but now we get back into it with the NBA playoffs just getting underway. I don't know, Parker. Would you call this the playoffs or not? I know they're calling it the play-in tournament. I think it's really the playoffs.
I would consider it the playoffs. I mean, it's there was a lot of arguments about is it the postseason? It's not the postseason. It's not the playoffs, but it's not the regular season. So I think I saw on Twitter the other day it's the pre-playoffs.
The
pre-playoffs.
Okay, the pre-playoffs. I'm
here,
logging our breaks so we don't forget them. But
but yeah, so last night Pacers beat the Charlotte Hornets handily,
easily,
144-117 at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. You know, I mean, I haven't had a whole lot to celebrate with the Pacers this year. Quite frankly, I've blasted the Pacers all season long for their drama, for their load management, go across the board. But last night, this guy that they picked up in the halfway through the regular season, a guy named O'Shea Brissett has been freaking tastic for
it's guys
the
named
Pacers.
Shea, my guy. It's guys named Shea.
Exactly. Okay, don't get ahead of ourselves. This guy's better than
exactly.
But yes, I mean, he had 23 points last night, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and just played unbelievably. Played 33 minutes. Sabonis played 33 minutes as well. Had 21 rebounds to go along with.
Sabonis.
Let me see.
Sabonis is
14 points.
Yeah, Sabonis has really turned himself into an All NBA player.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, Doug McDermott. Just shooting the heck out of the ball. 4 for 6 from 3. Ended up with 21. TJ McConnell's also playing well. 8 for 12 from the field. 5 rebounds, 3 assists to go along with 17 points. But how about this? The rookie from Butler, Keelan Martin, 14 points off the bench in 20 minutes played. Pacers handle the Charlotte Hornets 144-117.
How about this, though? I mean, the craziest part, they scored 144 points and kicked the Charlotte Hornets' ass. And Karis LeVert didn't play.
No, he didn't. No, he did not.
They didn't even have Karis LeVert, who might be their best pure scorer.
Exactly. So hopefully that is just a sign of things to come for the Pacers in the playoffs. Hopefully.
Well, if they beat Washington in this next game, they'd still have to play Philly. So I don't know what their odds are getting out of the first round. But last night was definitely a surprise because we both thought they'd be knocked out by the Hornets.
And you said it best last night. I texted you after the game. I said, I guess we were both wrong. And you said, we should change our show name too. I guess we were both wrong.
Weekdays at 1.
Exactly.
Right. I guess both of our takes were dumb.
Is anybody surprised?
No. I'm not surprised.
Neither am I.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Bengals winning 11 games and being in second place, my take yesterday, might be the dumbest take of the year. But if it pays off, I look like a genius. So
if it pays off, you get loads of clout. If it doesn't pay off, people think you're the scum of the earth.
And people already think I'm the scum of the earth. So what's new? It's okay. So
that's the spirit.
But yeah, I mean, Pacers played great last night, and they will play Washington after the Celtics beat Washington last night. Jason Tatum put up 50 in that game. So a lot of people were kind of ragging on this play-in tournament, but I like it a lot.
I like it too. Tatum is ridiculous. Jason Tatum, and I wouldn't say this about just anyone because of the amount of pressure and the amount of legacy that this puts on a player. But Jason Tatum last night, especially, just the way he played, the way he took over that game, he played like a 6'8" Kobe Bryant. He did.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, he single-handedly won that game for the Celtics. I mean, he put up
They even have
50.
Jaylen Brown. Yeah, Kemba
Yeah,
was good. Kemba was pretty good.
yeah, he put up 58 rebounds to go along. He was 17 for 17 from the free throw line. 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. I mean, just played fantastically.
And as we've been saying for 4 years now, he's only 20.
Exactly. I mean, some of these guys, you can't believe how young they are, and especially with I mean, the one and done being so prevalent now. That guys go to college for 1 year and then go to the NBA. And now there's even the option to not even go to college. They just go straight to the G League and play a year or two there, and then they're in the NBA. So it's just the talent in the game right now is just immense. I'm not the biggest basketball fan right now. Quite frankly, I can't stand to watch pro basketball right now. But I just had to watch the Pacers last night, and they played very well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Pacers, I mean, that game caught me off guard. It was I mean, we see it a lot in the playoffs, but one team comes in prepared and then another team comes in not really ready to go at the opening tip. And the Pacers were the team that was prepared. And before last night, if there was a team that was going to be, kind of slow out of the gates, I thought it would have been the Pacers. But kudos to the Pacers, the players, the coaches, the front office. I mean, they were ready to go, and they definitely got a solid punch to the jaw on the Charlotte Hornets, and they never let them recover.
Yeah, yeah. And this Washington Boston game I caught the tail end of was really a great one. Both teams played. They were as close all game, or as close for the entire game, unlike the Pacers and Charlotte game. So one thing I just want to get off my chest for a second, if I may.
Go for it.
I am sick of the Sports Center and the NBA.com and NBA Twitter. LaMelo Ball is so great.
House of LaMelo, baby.
He's the next coming of Kobe. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it right now.
Stop it. Get some
Last night just proved that LaMelo Ball, as great as he has been all season long, he's been great for Charlotte, and he's
19 years old.
He's been one of the greatest comings from the Ball family, and that isn't saying a whole lot. And it's just he's a rookie. He's 19 years old. He's still developing, and I'm just sick of the NBA and ESPN. Oh my God, LaMelo Ball is so great, and they did the same thing with Zion Williamson, and they're still doing the same thing with Zion Williamson, and it's just annoying to me. I am sick of it. So if anybody if Adam Silver is listening to our show right now, stop
it.
Just stop adding to LaMelo Ball's ego. It's not helping anybody. And the person that is being the most just overjoyed by this is Lavar Ball. We all know how that turned out a few years back when Lonzo was in the NBA. Granted, it gave us the greatest argument from First Take in history, but
there is something wrong with you. Yes.
Yes, I'll tell you what's wrong with me. Everything.
I love that he said Lonzo could be. He said that I believe when Lonzo was at UCLA, he said you put Lonzo on the Warriors and Steph Curry on UCLA, and Lonzo would do better. In the middle of Curry's MVP season.
And the best part about that video is Stephen A. just going, "You really gonna say that on national television? Really?"
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, just that there were 3 takes in that argument that was just insane. LaVar saying that he could beat Michael Jordan 1-on-1, the Steph Curry comparison with Lonzo, and comparing Lonzo to Magic Johnson. You can't make this up. You just can't make it up.
That's great.
I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. What did they call when the Ball family had a reality show? What did they call it?
Oh, I don't know. Wasn't that show that premiered on Facebook?
Maybe.
Who's watching the Ball family TV show on Facebook? Nobody.
Let's find it.
And the
Ball in
five,
the Family. It was called Ball in the Family.
yeah,
I
and
think
the
they
five,
should. I think they should revive it to replace Keeping Up with the Kardashians when the show ends after this season, and call it House of LaMelo.
the $500 big baller brand basketball shoes.
That you
Ugh,
don't get in the mail for 8 months after you order them.
ugh. And the best part about that is Lonzo was wearing them on the court and they broke. You just can't make this stuff up, folks.
Oh God. That's
But
beautiful. All right, let's get into the games tonight. Grizzlies and Spurs. We gave our picks a couple days ago, but the Grizzlies come into this one. I think the hotter team. I think the Spurs kind of faded at the end of the year. The Grizzlies come in with I think one of the better young cores in the NBA with Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Dylan Brooks. It's a really good team. I like it a lot. Um, I think they have a lot of potential. Grayson Allen as well. I know a lot of people don't like Grayson Allen, but he's been pretty solid for the Grizzlies. So I think that they are the favorite heading into tonight's game, and they're also at home, which helps a lot. The Spurs have DeRozan. The Spurs have DeJounte Murray, who I like a lot, and obviously a Popovich coach team is always tough to beat. But I think the Grizzlies have more talent. I think the Grizzlies are the hotter team, and I think home court advantage really puts the Grizzlies over the top. I think they win this one tonight.
yeah, I think they do too. With the talent of Ja Morant, we all know how good Ja Morant is. He was great at Murray State. Now he's been great in Memphis with the Grizzlies. There is some injuries with both teams. Trey Lyles will be out for this game, as well as Grayson Allen will not play in this game for the Grizzlies. As Sean McDermott also will not play for the Grizzlies, but. I still like the Grizzlies' chances. They've been the better team all year. They have 5 games on the Spurs. So I think even though the Spurs have had the better record at home, the Grizzlies still have Ja Morant, who's been fantastic. Even though how great DeMar DeRozan is, I like the Grizzlies' chances in this game as well.
Yeah. I think the only really clear advantage that the Spurs possibly have is at coach.
Yeah,
But Greg Popovich is not able to play tonight. So it'll be settled on the court. And I think at the end, the Grizzlies will come away on top. I think John Morant's ticked that they lost to the Warriors and didn't get that 8 seed or that 8 spot. So I don't think Ja lets it happen again. I think Ja takes care of business, and I think the Grizzlies win this one. Warriors and Lakers. This is going to be a really, really fun one. LeBron and AD against Steph Curry. Little bit of drama. LeBron may have re-aggravated his ankle on Sunday. That's kind of a rumor. The only way I think the Warriors win this game is if LeBron can't play. But if LeBron and AD are both playing, AD looked great on Sunday. I think the Lakers are the better team, even though I think Steph Curry's been the best player in the league all year.
yeah, no doubt about it. If I had an MVP ballot in my hand right now to submit, Curry's my MVP this year. He's
The fact
averaged
that that Warriors team even got to the play-in is ridiculous.
Exactly, and I think so. This is going to be my another dumb take for today. I think the Warriors win this one.
Oh my goodness!
I really, really do. I think Curry's going to take over. I think the Lakers are just going to have a complete lapse. And it's just going to be it's not going to be the Lakers' night, even though they're at the Staples Center. They're going to struggle. I really think they're going to struggle, and the Warriors win this one. I did not receive any fire on Twitter with my Bengals take yesterday or my Lions take yesterday, but if this doesn't get me fired off the air, I don't know what will.
I mean, I know what will, but I'd rather you didn't. No, I mean, I wouldn't.
That's another inside joke for the station.
Yeah, we had a fun day Monday. I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors win tonight. I think Steph Curry is one of the greatest, maybe the greatest scorer just pure shooter of the basketball ever. I think that's pretty set in stone. He's one of the best scorers ever. He's up there with guys like Kevin Durant and Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant and guys like that. Michael Jordan, LeBron. I mean, there's a ton of elite scorers, and Steph Curry's in that conversation. But I just look at the depth, and I know the Lakers don't have a ton of depth, but I just look at, you have Curry versus LeBron. That's pretty even, I think, even though LeBron's kind of banged up. I think they both do enough to win their team games. Then you have Anthony Davis versus Wiggins. That's a big, big shift in favor of the Lakers. After that, I mean, you have Dennis Schroeder with Draymond. That's probably pretty even. I just don't know if the Warriors have a true second scorer. I think Curry might score 50 or 60 tonight, but can you count on Wiggins to score 25 and keep you with LeBron and AD? And also, I don't think Steve Kerr is a bad coach, but he's not as good of a coach as we thought he was because he had Kevin Durant. So I don't know if Steve Kerr is enough either to get this team over the top. So I think the Lakers win it just because I think their star power outweighs the Warriors' star power. And I just can't trust. I think Wiggins has had a good year, but I can't trust Andrew Wiggins to put up Anthony Davis numbers tonight.
Yeah, I'm really either. This game could go either way. But the thing is for me is, does LeBron play? And if he plays, he's not going to be 100%. So that's why I kind of favor the Warriors slightly in this game. It's going to be close. It's going to be a fun game to watch, but I think the Warriors ultimately win it.
Okay. Well, there you have it. We both picked the Grizzlies tonight, and then Parker, with a little bit of a hot take, he's going with the Fighting Steph Currys to beat LeBron James and the Lakers tonight. I still don't think it's as bold of a take as your freaking Bengals one, but that was pretty brutal. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna look real stupid if they come out and they're not great.
Yeah, Zach Taylor about to get fired mid-season, and you're gonna look like the donkey of the day.
It's okay, nothing new.
We appreciate you hanging out with us here today on Keep It Real with Testa and Neal, right here on WWSU 106.9 FM and our YouTube channel, WWSU 106.9. However you're hanging out with us, we do appreciate it. Hour number one just coming to an end right here. We still got plenty more to get into in hour number two. Wright State with a couple new coaches potentially in the basketball programs. So we'll get into that, as well as, the baseball. I mean, we might brag about Wright State baseball again because they're best in the country at like 8 different things.
Why not? Let's go.
But we'll get into that. We also have our fun debate topic of the day: the best team from each of the major sports in the 21st century. Which team has the greatest resume in the 21st century? I'm just thinking about, some of the big sports. I think football is pretty easy for me, NFL at least. But baseball, I mean, do you go Red Sox? Do you go with the Giants? Do you go with the Cardinals? Do you go with the, it's tough. It's definitely not an easy accomplishment. Do you go with a team like, the Yankees, who have been consistently at the top but have never gotten the job done since 2009? So it'll be interesting to get into that. And again, our social media is at Parker Testa and at ESPN Shea Neal. Let us know your thoughts. We had a lot of fun interacting with you yesterday on the best sports cities in the country. So let's have fun with this one as well. How do you feel? Who has the best resume in each major sport for the last 21 years? We're just doing 21st century because I feel like if we do more than that, it would be way too difficult. But 21st century, from 2000 on, who has the best resume? All right, we're going to step away for just a few minutes. When we come back, it is hour number 2 of Keep It Real. We're going to dive into this Wright State topic on the other side of the break. Parker, any last things to add here in hour number 1?
Well,
the Pacers won, which is weird. It's still weird.
The Pacers won. It's surprising, no doubt about it. It makes me very happy and very confident. I think the Pacers winning is the reason why I picked Golden State tonight, because I'm feeling confident. And to quote Baker Mayfield, I'm feeling dangerous.
Oh, no. This is going to be on tweets that age, or, pictures taken seconds before disaster tomorrow. So we'll see.
I'm gonna be. I'm
I
gonna be.
woke
I'm gonna
up
be.
feeling dangerous, and then the Pacers or the Warriors will have lost by 50.
I'm gonna be a meme tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go back to this recording and find that pic of you being like, I woke up feeling dangerous, and I'll crop it and say like, when you thought you had good sports takes. No. But yeah, we had a lot of fun here in hour number one. We still got plenty more show to get into. So keep it locked. Hour number two of Keep It Real. It's coming up next. hour number 2 of Keep It Real with Testa and Neal. I'm Shea Neal, alongside with me, Parker Testa. How are all of you? We appreciate you hanging out with us here on this Wednesday afternoon. It's a lot of fun so far, and we're starting hour number 2, like I said. So it's been really a blast. And hey, I have all of my ducks in a row today, Parker, and I remembered when we took breaks, so we should be more smooth today on the live feed as well.
Yeah. Monday was a little bit rough. Our first show doing it from separate states, but we're learning as we go. We're getting better, hopefully, as we go.
Well, during that break, I actually ducked to my office for a second. I got a phone call, and they said that it was somebody that literally was calling to ask for one of the other directors, and they said, "Well, you're the host of that sports show," and I'm like, "I'm one of them, yeah." And he's like, "I really like your show," and I'm like, "Well, thank you, buddy." So whoever just called, I mean, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Very much appreciate that. We're starting to get fans, even though my sports takes are
It's
terrible.
so weird, man. Like, it's so weird. I told you a couple days ago, somebody was coming on a tour of the campus, and I was going to come out and say what's up, because that's what I do as the GM. But I just heard the tour guide be like, "Yeah, I hear they have a lot of fun down here. Shea Neal runs the sports department." I just kind of like stood back, and I'm like, "What? What? People know my name?"
What? That's
No
surprising.
way. No way. No, I was shook, and that's in Fairborn, Ohio. Like, it's gonna blow my mind even more when I get to a bigger city. So
Yeah. Well, just the promotions and the alumni that are starting to help us out coming up here this summer and into the fall. It's just we've learned so much about just so many successful and great people that have come through our great station, and they're all doing amazing things
yeah,
out there in the not only the sports world but the entire media and radio world.
yeah.
So we're really excited for. I mean, I know we talk about we just fangirl about this station for what seems like
And if we
20
didn't, I feel
minutes,
like you should be concerned.
20 minutes a show. It feels like, but it's just we're just so excited, and we're just proud to show off what we're doing right now.
I feel bad for you, man. You have to sit back in Indiana and just kind of watch everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'll help out as much as possible.
yeah. No, we had a meeting.
But
I mean,
we'll be back in the fall, and we'll be better than ever. So
yeah, but like you said, I mean, like you said, our alum are insane. We had a meeting yesterday, and I just put like 5 or 6 of them in a tab, and just some of their accomplishments that they've been able to accomplish, and it's unreal how good some of the alum of WWSU have turned their media careers into. Um, in Dayton, outside of Dayton, it's ridiculous. I mean, WWSU has its footprint all over the country in terms of media, and that's really, really exciting. And it's like I tweeted last night. I mean, my job's really, really fun right now because we're doing some really historic stuff that's never been done here, and just to be able to oversee that is one of the coolest feelings ever.
yeah, and just to be, um, personally, just to be a small part of um, of what's going on here is really just an honor to be working with the great people we have here. Not only just the paid staff, but the DJs and
And the
which
incoming ones that are coming in the fall as well.
right, yeah, the just the DJs and I'm really excited to see what our broadcast team is going to become next year. Of
Yeah,
course, I'll have myself, we'll have Scotty Kramer back as well. I know you're going to join us for some games as well, but we're going to bring in
I'll have to be there for
who
that Milwaukee game for sure.
exactly. We're gonna, I mean, we're just going to bring in just some fantastic, passionate people who are passionate about sports, passionate about radio in general, and just passionate about just loving what they do, because
Yeah,
we certainly love what we do.
no doubt about it, and that's what makes it fun. I mean, I feel like half the time I have a take on this show, it's just something that I tweeted a few days earlier, but I was working on Saturday. I worked 8 hours at ESPN recording commercials for Alpha Media, and I worked 62 hours last week across 3 different jobs. And you don't do that unless you love what you do. And so I tweeted, and I 100% agree with this. The day I stop having fun with it is the day I'll know I'm done.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that is, and for anybody in this line of work is if you don't, especially in sports, if you don't love watching games, and if you don't just like sitting there and just following each little detail and just nitpicking about what pitch is being thrown or what the manager did, like we did with larussa in the first hour, if you don't love just complaining or just breaking down what happened, you shouldn't be in radio.
And
So
it's one of the
um,
sports media and just media in general is one of the toughest balances to find. And that's you have to be your own biggest fan because for a very long time nobody gives one crap about you.
yeah.
And you have to build your own brand. You have to get better on your own with nobody knowing who you are. And then finally, a couple people figure it out, and then you can go from there. But you also can never be content with yourself. And a lot of people get stuck plateauing because they're like, you know what? I'm better than what I was, and that's good enough for me. Now, that can't be good enough for you if you want to make it in this business. You got to keep getting better and better every single time you do a game, you do a radio show, whatever you decide to do in media, whether you're a photographer, every picture you take's got to be better than the last one. Um, you got to have Mamba mentality in this business. You really do. And it's an absolutely brutal and unforgiving profession if you aren't fully prepared for it. But it's so damn rewarding if you put the time in.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think the perfect example of never settling and never being satisfied is, I mean, I know you and I both go back and listen to all the broadcasts or all the shows that we do, and we listen to see where we can improve. And we sit there and we're like, do I really sound like that? Are you kidding me? I mean, it's an interesting topic, because I guarantee you, every single person in radio hates their voice.
100%.
It's
Mike
it's
Breen hates his voice.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I know. We both have listened to it back to ourselves, and it's like, gosh, I can't believe I sound like that. I know our previous GM, Sammy, said, "Gosh, I hate my voice." I mean, it's every single person in radio sits there and, I really sound like that.
You can
I
never
mean,
listen to your own work because you'll just hate it.
exactly.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, we're doing some. I mean, that's our 8-minute rant about WWSU for the day. But we're doing some really cool stuff, and it's really really fun. We have. I knew I'd be excited, but I think I told our advisor yesterday. I said, it's a new level of excitement, and it's a new level of adrenaline that I got when I found out that other people were excited, other people on the staff, DJs, other orgs. I
For
mean,
sure.
like Dylan tweeted yesterday, we released our new logo and it looks great. But Dylan retweeted it and said, I'm excited to be a part of this killer rebrand. And I mean, so there's people all across the campus community, there's people all across the city of Dayton that are hyped about what we're doing. And that's a new level of energy that, I mean, I've gotten probably a combined like 14 hours of sleep the last 3 nights, but I still feel wide awake and ready to go because I know that a lot of people are excited about the stuff we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And I had to laugh because of the headers that we got yesterday
Yeah.
for our Twitter accounts. Dylan commented on one of my, I posted mine on my, I think it was Facebook, and Dylan sent me a message and says it looks great, and I said, yeah, well, I hope so, because you're the one that helped make it.
Yeah. No doubt about it. And I think that I wish you were here yesterday because I spent 45 minutes in the office debating whether I wanted the red one or the green one as my Twitter background. Literally went back and forth on it like 8 different times. And I'm like, I like them both. But
Yeah,
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 it's really fun what we're building. Our music department's about to get revamped. We have local artists coming. I mean, we're putting some really cool new podcasts into our automation system. It's we're even talking about the beginning stages of doing a weekly sports video wrap up. How fun's that
yeah,
gonna be?
yeah.
Um,
So excited.
yeah, we have so much cool stuff in the works, and we appreciate you hanging out with us, and we hope you continue to hang out with us um, throughout the course of the year. Because it's like I say in that we aired a couple commercials a couple weeks ago that air on the station right now, and maybe you've heard of them while we're at break. Um, but mine, and I mean it 100%. We're so excited to have you back on campus, Raider Nation, and we think you're going to love the new WWSU.
Yeah, and I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, the excitement for just, I mean, we haven't even been on the job for not even a month, and we've seen just I mean, the support and the overwhelming excitement and just I don't know, just excitement and passion and just everyone is excited to
Word in
see.
the year.
Exactly,
Who said that?
exactly, exactly. What did you hear something?
Right? I didn't hear anything.
But yeah, the excitement that not only us, but our alumni of WWSU and really just all the city of Dayton, just the excitement that everybody has for what we're doing here is just it just makes me so happy to see just the excitement that everybody has and the excitement that we have
100.
every single week. I know you said it yesterday. I don't think I've ever been in a fun meeting in my life, but the previous two meetings have been just a lot of fun, and I'm just so excited for the future of WWSU.
And it's the perfect duo that we've established of you have fun projects and fun content that we're working on with fun people that we're working with. So it's the perfect balance and it makes working here fun, which is what really the idea of a student org is all about.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, just we like to who doesn't like to have fun? And I think
And I'm
there's not
willing, and I said it yesterday, and I'm willing, I'll say it again today. We are the org that has the most fun on campus, 150%.
yeah. And if anybody from any other org is out there listening right now, and I know there's probably a few, even if you think
You're
you
not
have a
being,
lot of if you think you have a lot of fun with the org that you're involved in, you don't know what fun is
yeah, right.
until you come.
Your whole org has as much fun as like two of our directors.
Right.
Yeah,
Come hang out at the office with us one day, and then you'll see what fun is.
no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
So
All right,
there's our 15 minutes of
right. Let's
WWSU.
get into Wright State sports.
Right.
The men's basketball team brings in a new assistant coach. Parker, you know a little bit more about his resume and his credentials than I do, so I'll let you introduce him.
Yeah, Dan Beret, I think it is how you pronounce his last name. Spent the previous 7 years at Jacksonville University down there in Florida. He has quite the resume. He was with Butler in 2013.
It's
As
right after, is that right
the
after Stevens left, or is it the last year?
it's I think it's the first year
Of
of
or
Holtman
not
there
Holtman.
in yeah in 2013, right after Brad Stevens went to Boston. But before Butler, he was with Purdue Fort Wayne. So this was before they were in the Horizon League, but some Horizon League ties with Dan Beret. He was from 2006 to 2013 under Dane Fife, who's now an assistant at Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
So and then he was also a student manager at Indiana from 2001 to 2005 under Detroit Mercy head coach Mike Davis when he was the head coach at IU after Bob Knight. So quite the resume for Dan Beret coming over from Jacksonville University to be an assistant coach under Scott Nagy. So
Yeah.
excited for that.
And he'll be replacing Brian Cooley, who took a position with Colorado State. Congratulations to Coach Cooley. He deserves this
Yeah,
opportunity, and
of course.
we're very excited for him. But I think Scott Nagy hit a home run with this replacement in Dan Beret. I think he's going to do great things for this team. And this team, I think they're really hungry. Obviously, they've come up short in the tournament 2 years in a row. This is supposed to be, the bad boys of the Horizon League, the best team, the team that everyone wants to knock out, and they haven't accomplished what they've wanted to accomplish yet over the last couple seasons. So I think this team's going to come out with a purpose this year. Milwaukee got Patrick Baldwin Jr., and I get that. Cleveland State's the defending champs, and I get that. NKU has Faulkner and Warwick, and I get that. I still think Wright State's the team to beat.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you lose Jalen Hall, you lose blank in my mind. Who else did they lost? Oh
Oh,
my God, who
um,
did they lose?
I don't know.
Jalen Hall and
Jalen might have been the only guy.
was
They
there
lost
only one?
Skylar Potter. They lost Skylar Potter a year ago, but
Okay, I think I'm thinking of our women's team. They lost
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of their
and
talent, but
they're
yeah,
still,
you lose
they're still,
Jalen Hall to Morehead State.
mhm.
There's still a possibility that Loudon Love might not be back. Fingers crossed that he does come back.
I
Loudon,
think
if
the
you're out there
longer,
listening,
I
Loudon,
think
if you're out there listening right now, come back, please.
And personally, the longer I think we wait to hear a decision, the better chances it is that he comes back.
Right,
Because I don't think he wants to put the program in a bad position. So I think the longer he waits, the more likely it is that he returns.
right. Yeah. So the excitement that I'm sure Scott Nagy has for the not only the addition of Coach Beret, but
Well, yeah.
the entire program as a whole.
I mean, still think about this team though. They have, if Loudon comes back, and we'll just do the roster without Loudon for now, but Holden, Basili, excuse me,
Hubrich.
excuse me.
Yeah,
But Holden and Basili, I mean, two guys that are going to be right in the thick of things for Horizon League Player of the Year.
right. Tim Finke,
Finke,
Alex Hubrich,
Trey Calvin, Alex Hubrich, Riley Voss, the transfer from Cornell. They're still in the sweepstakes for Darius Quisenberry. They still are in the sweepstakes for Darius.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yeah. So there's, I mean, lots to be excited about for this, for our men's basketball program at Wright State, as well as our women's program. Lots of excitement going on, and it came out yesterday from Kyle with the Horizon Roundtable.
Way to go, Kyle.
He says
he's not even the Wright State reporter.
He's the Cleveland State women's basketball reporter, but he put out this tweet yesterday, and I quote here: "Hearing that Wright State is near the end of their coaching search and that there is a good chance they will keep it local with Cedarville Division II head coach Carrie Hoffman. It's not likely to make a ton of waves, but that would be a low-key solid move. She has won at least 19 games every season she has been in charge, as has done it without much of a budget and knows the footprint very well. She was an assistant for 6 years prior to being promoted." So Carrie Hoffman, head coach at Cedarville locally in Dayton, was an assistant coach at Cedarville from 2010 2016. Before that, she was the director of basketball operations at Green Bay up there. So another Horizon League opponent. So from 2008 to 2010, and is a graduate of Concordia University in California. So that is the only name that we have heard of for the assistant or the new head coach for our women's basketball team at Wright State, Carrie Hoffman, head coach at Cedarville.
Yeah, and I mean, she has quite the resume, and I know that it's local and that it's some people they were wishing for a sexier, higher person, and it hasn't happened yet, but it's the the favorite. Maybe wanting a sexier, higher, but I mean, basketball, all that you need to do in modern basketball is win. Nobody really cares about how you do it, and that's what she's been able to do at Cedarville. And I think she brings a good culture of winning to Wright State if she gets the position. And she also brings good local recruiting, where I think she could do a great job recruiting in the state of Ohio and make this Wright State, I don't want to say rebuild, but retooling a lot shorter than it could be with another coach outside of the area.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, the success that Coach Trina had and many players that Wright State had last year with the women's team, they're I mean, wish the ultimate best to Coach Merriweather, to Tyler Frierson, to Imani Jefferson, to Angel Baker, and to there is one more. Who am I missing? To
Frierson, Jefferson, Baker. I think that's it.
Nia Sumter graduated as well. So all the best to those players and to Coach Merriweather and to I know there was a couple coaches, Coach Jump, Coach Barlow, and Coach Adams went to Memphis with Coach
Kevin Reed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Coach Merriweather. So best of luck to them, but we're all just excited for the new era, if you will, of Wright State women's basketball.
No doubt about it. And I mean, new coaching staff, new roster, but you can't take away from them what they accomplished last season. They're still going to enter the season defending champs and a Horizon League team that won an NCAA tournament game. So still a lot to be proud of and a lot to look forward to the future of this program for sure. I mean, the Horizon League non-conference schedule usually comes out in July every year, and I'm already, counting down the days until the schedule comes out. I am ready for basketball with fans in attendance, and I am ready
too.
And the Horizon League is going to be so competitive this year. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm just excited I'm sitting here chomping at the bit for the schedule to come out so I can put that in our spreadsheet and get broadcasters lined up and just get back to the Nutter Center, man.
Well, before I can crash the party at the Nutter Center, I might have to come crash the party at McClin. Because the defending champion volleyball team is going to be back in action with fans in attendance. And
for sure,
if I'm not calling the game, I'll definitely be in attendance because that volleyball team is so fun to watch. And I tweeted when their season ended, and I sincerely mean it. I didn't watch a ton of volleyball until I got here and started broadcasting.
Me
And
neither.
they've made me into a bigger volleyball fan than I ever thought imaginable.
Right, right. I mean, when you texted me that night and right before the volleyball season started, hey, we're doing volleyball next week. And I'm like, hey, I don't know anything about
That's not going
volleyball,
to go well. Yeah.
and this is not going to go well. And you said, trust me, it's a lot of fun. You'll figure it out quick. And you were right. I mean, going after that first match, just going following the season and following the stat lines and the matches and even when they went to the NCAA tournament. And I think the greatest memory I have from broadcasting this year is calling that championship match with UIC. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, just excited to have that back, to have Wright State volleyball back at McLean next season. So just excited for, I mean, really all Wright State sports to come back. I know we're talking about doing some club football games and just really excited for.
That's a sport you're really going to enjoy. I loved calling club football.
Yeah. So and even still Wright State sports going on. The Raider gang is headed
What
for
a
the
huge
Horizon League tournament.
game. Man, that was beautiful. Well done. Claps for the YouTube feed. Parker with the greatest transition of his radio career. Well done.
Thank you.
Take a bow, sir, for the YouTube feed. Well done.
But the Raider gang having a hell of a year. I mean,
no
the top offense in the country, and they're
undisputed top offense in the country.
Yeah, top. And I mean, we see these Twitter stats come out. I mean, like almost once a day, the Raider gang is at least in the top 5 in a lot of these categories, if not leading the category. Best offense in the country. Quincy Hamilton has scored the most runs in the country. It's just fantastic year for Coach Sogard and Coach Metzger and company. It couldn't happen to a better group of people too. I mean, they're just the nicest people in the world. Coach Sogard was a fantastic interview when I had a chance to talk to him early in February. So they've been one of the most dominant baseball programs, not only in the Horizon League, but in the entire country all year long.
And that's a common theme with a lot of coaches here at Wright State. Coach Sogard, Coach Matters with the volleyball team, Coach Arlinghouse with the golf team, Coach Nagy, Coach Merriweather before she left for Memphis. They're great coaches. They're also great people off the field, off the court, and they're very personable. They're very easy to talk to. People like you and I that are in student radio that don't necessarily have the same follower base as somebody from WHIO or Dayton Daily News or something like that. We get treated just the same as anyone else, and that's maybe the coolest part of all of this.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They're like you said, they're great people. I mean, they don't have to stop and talk to us.
I was gonna say, Allie always stops by our booth on our way out to the court before a match, and she always just we just talk about random stuff for 2 or 3 minutes.
Right, and that's the coolest part about what we do. We're just a small student radio station at Wright State, but they treat us like we're Fox. They treat us like we're WHIO. They treat us like we're a part of these bigger stations and bigger companies. And a lot of coaches they don't have to take the time out. They don't have to talk to us. I know a lot of coaches don't enjoy particularly talking to the media, but they take the time out. They want to help us do our jobs, and I think that's the coolest. It makes our jobs a lot easier, and it makes us feel makes us feel great about what we do, and it makes us enjoy what we do even more.
100%. I totally agree. My favorite part, just to end our talk about the baseball team, the Raider gang, my favorite part about this group is that they pick each other up. I mean, they played Oakland over the weekend. Congratulations, by the way, to Bradley Bremer, Horizon League Pitcher of the Week. But Jake Strand had one of the worst games of the season for him. He did not pitch very well. I think he only got through like 2 1/3. Gave up 4 or 5 runs. And you thought, Wright State's best pitcher had a bad game. This could be, not a good thing. But their bullpen shut down the Oakland offense, and their offense rallied and got the comeback win. Damon Dew's walk-off hit. This team rallies, man. You can give them a solid punch. You can hit them hard, but it's really, really hard to knock them down.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They're one of the I mean, just I mean, like we've talked about, that they're very resilient, and they're just great people. I mean, as much as they love baseball and as much as they love playing the game, they're just great people, and they're just as great as they are at baseball. They're just even better people. So it's great to see not only the Raider game, but all the programs that Wright State have just tremendous success.
No doubt about it. And well, I'm sure we'll talk more Wright State sports as the summer goes on as well. So we appreciate you hanging out with us here today. We're back on YouTube. If you have not checked out the YouTube feed, make sure you do. WWSU 106.9 on YouTube. So give a subscribe to the channel. Also, you can find live episodes of Testa and Neal Keep It Real there every single weekday. They drop at 1 p.m. And we appreciate you hanging out with us. If you're listening to us on WWSU 106.9, we appreciate you just as much because both platforms give us the same amount of love, and we appreciate that. We're going to step away. This will be the final break of the show. When we come back, Parker, this I'm excited for. Who has the best legacy in each major sport in the 21st century? So, again, follow us on Twitter at Parker Testa, at ESPN Shea Neal. Let us know your thoughts. Who has the best resume in each major sport over the last 20 years? We'll be back. Keep it real. The final segment coming up next. Final segment of the show here today. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on WWSU 106.9 FM and our YouTube channel, WWSU 1069. Parker, I just ducked into my office again, and there is some new show graphics that have been made, and there's also the new staff spotlight graphics that have been made, and I will show you those when we are done here today, but they look fire.
Morgan's the best.
She's about to make her radio debut. She's about to duck on the morning show.
Really?
Yep. I tried to give her the little bit of the radio pep talk, and I'm like, hey, the beauty of working at a college radio station is it's honestly worse to fumble your words in a high school classroom. But, yeah, no, we do appreciate you hanging out with us, and we'll be rooting for her as she makes her radio debut.
Yes.
Pat,
we'll see if we can have her on this show sometime.
There you go. We'll have all the staff on this show because Lord knows our listeners will like everyone else more than us.
We like everybody else more than us, so I'm sure our listeners will too.
Nobody hates me more than me, and that's hard to believe because a lot of people hate me. But yeah, no. If you think you dislike me, just wait till you meet me because I just despise me. Yeah, but I'm excited for this final segment, man. Who has the best resumes across the major sports in the last 20 years? I thought it'd be kind of easy when I thought about it, but it's a lot harder.
It is. Especially across all the major sports.
Let's start with the easy one. NFL. Gotta be New England for me.
Yeah, I completely agreed. No argument here.
The Patriots, I mean, they had 20 years of Brady. They still have Belichick. They've won 6 Super Bowls in the last 21 years. It's a team that has gone from a history of losing to now known for winning and known for winning Super Bowls. Nobody has dominated maybe any sport over the last 20 years like the New England Patriots have. I think this will be the easiest one we have all day.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's just, I mean, there's no argument. The Patriots have won 6 Super Bowls in 20 years. They won 6 Super Bowls in 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no argument, just the success and just the dominance really that the New England has had over the past 20 years.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, that's crazy. They don't even have Brady anymore, and I still feel like I expect the Patriots to win every year. That's just how good they've been over the last 2 decades. That it's
right.
The Patriots, they don't lose.
No, not at all. And it was, I mean, part of me was very happy to see them lose last year because it was just a kind of some new, just to see some new faces really in this. Well, not really a new face with as my brother calls me in the middle of the show. He should know better by now, but
come on, Casey, get your head in the game. Read the room.
But yeah, just to see some new faces in the playoffs, and just to see, I mean, not really new faces with Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl again, but some new teams.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
It's just the sheer dominance of just not the Patriots anymore, really, but just the sheer dominance of Tom Brady. Here, so let's move on to baseball because I'm interested to see what your take is on this one.
Really quick. This comes from our buddy Brandon on Twitter. He says, this might be a hot take because I know Brady and the Patriots have the most rings over the last 2 decades, but my pick's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. They've always had a strong defense from the Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs age of the early 2000s. They've won a couple Super Bowls. And then they had a couple solid years with Joe Flacco, won a Super Bowl, and now they're back on top with Lamar Jackson. I think the Ravens, maybe not the best legacy, but I think they're in that conversation. Thank you, Brandon, for your submission. If I didn't pick the Patriots, I think the 2 that pop in my head next would be probably Baltimore, and I don't know who I'd pick out of the NFC. Sounds insane, but maybe the Seahawks, because they've had the Russell Wilson era and then the Hasselbeck era. I don't know. Who's been the most dominant team in the NFC over the last 2 decades?
I'm thinking Green Bay, even though they haven't won.
Marvin Rodgers, that's probably true.
Even though they haven't won, they've only won 1 Super Bowl, but just the consistent time of being great.
Well, how about this? And what about I mean, I guess the Cardinals had kind of a dry spell over the last couple of years, but the Kurt Warner Cardinals and now the Kyler Murray Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals have been a lot better than I think a lot of people think the last 15 years.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they had Kurt Warner,
Mm-hmm.
and then Carson Palmer, and now Kyler Murray. So
Yeah.
they've had some great consistent play at quarterback, with the exception of a few years with Josh Rosen. But
Oof.
the Cardinals are up there, as well as, even though they haven't had a whole lot of success, they've had very
Yeah.
consistent quarterback play.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, so that's kind of again, I appreciate Brandon throwing in the Ravens in that. I think the Ravens are in that conversation. I think they've had a lot of team success, and they've probably had the second best resume in the AFC behind New England. Maybe Indy in that conversation, but Indy kind of had a little bit more extended dry spells than Baltimore did. And then Pittsburgh is also always in that conversation. But I think those are the four that pop in my head from the AFC: New England, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Indy.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
All right, so let's move on to baseball. I have two that pop in my head for baseball, one from each league. The Giants in the NL,
Okay.
because they won 3 rings in the 2010s. I think they're consistently strong. You don't really ever see a basement Giants team. They're usually either average or good. They've always had strong pitching. They usually get pretty timely hitting. And until a couple of years ago, they were managed by a very intelligent man in Bruce Bochy.
Sure.
So I have the Giants as my NL team, but the team I think I'm going to pick overall is the Boston Red Sox.
I would agree with you.
4 rings. They broke the curse of the Bambino, and they've only gone up since then. Alex Cora, Bobby Valentine. I mean, Terry Francona. They've had great managers. David Ortiz, what a legacy he built in Boston. Mookie Betts. Now they build their firepower on JD Martinez and Xander Bogaerts. They have Chris Sale. The Red Sox are always talented. It's a team that's always fighting with the Yankees for the top. And with 4 rings in the last 20 years, I think the Red Sox have the best resume in baseball.
Yeah, I would agree with you. The dominance that the Red Sox have, really just, I mean, they've won 4 World Series in 18 years. So they've just been, I mean, there's no other way to put it. They've just been fantastic. And that's overall for the entire league. Mine is the Boston Red Sox. The Giants, I would agree with you on that one. They've definitely had success, so a lot of success. And then in the
And then in the
national,
2000s, I mean, they didn't win in the 2000s, but they had Barry Bonds while he was breaking the records. So
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, and they're um just I mean, they're just great. And you could argue that the New York Yankees are in that conversation as well.
Mhm.
But my rebuttal with that is they haven't had a lot of success in the past decade.
Right.
And they haven't won the series since 2009. So they've really they've been good, but they haven't been able to get over that hump
Right.
of
I put the Yankees and the Dodgers in pretty similar boats,
right.
honestly, where they've been consistently good. They've been consistently in the playoffs, but they both only have 1 ring in the last 20 years. So,
Yeah.
well, I guess the Yankees won in 2000, so they have two. But I don't know. I don't think I think the Yankees and Dodgers have a strong resume of being consistently good, but they don't have the best resume over the last 2 decades. I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. Just yeah, I mean, agree with you. The Boston Red Sox have just had it's just sheer dominance for the last 20
As,
years.
as much as I hate this team, this is a good one. This comes from Adam. He says the St. Louis Cardinals. I know the Giants got one more ring, but the Cardinals won in 06 and as well as 11. Albert Pujols in his prime. Also a team built around Matt Holliday, and now having Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. It's a team that's always in the playoffs. It's a team that doesn't lose very often, and it's a team that might be the most consistent in all of baseball outside of the Yankees and Dodgers. I hate the Cardinals, but I got to give respect where it's due. The Cardinals are one of the most successful and the most consistently winning organizations in baseball.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They've had a lot of success. One of my favorite baseball moments. I know it breaks your heart, but just one of my favorite baseball moments ever is actually right here on this photo, is when
Freeze?
David Freese
Yeah.
hit the walk off
It
in Game
doesn't bug
Six.
me as much. I thought you were going to say the fight between Yadier Molina and Brandon Phillips.
um, But yeah, that 2011 Game 6 is one of my favorite baseball moments ever. Let me just talk about this for a minute because I just saw this tweet and I'm going to forget about it if we move on. This comes from the Quinn Buckner burner account on Twitter, which is fantastic if you get a chance to follow it. So last night, if there are any of you that don't know, Quinn Buckner is a color commentator for the Pacers games on TV here in Indy. Last night on the broadcast, Quinn Buckner says this: I remember one time as a child, I got my ball stuck in a tree. I knocked it down, and when I went to catch it, it was actually a hornet's nest. Those hornets showed more fight than these hornets tonight, partner. And then Chris Denari, who's the Pacers play-by-play announcer, says Lavar Ball has been ejected from his courtside seat. And I think that's the most hilarious Twitter thread that I've seen all day.
That is great.
I mean, Quinn Buckner, as great as he was at IU, he's not a great color commentator, to be honest with you. But moving back to the greatest teams of the 21st century, yeah, Cardinals are up there as one of the best in baseball, as well as the Red Sox and Giants.
All right, let's do college football. Who has the best resume of the last 20 years? I think it's got to be Bama.
I agree with you. Saban has he's just sheer dominance from Saban. I would put Ohio State in that conversation as well.
It's close. If Ohio State had one or two more championships, I think they'd be right there.
Yeah, for sure. The Ohio State's had, just continuous success, and I know it not as much in for the first 10 years of the 21st century, but Clemson over the last 10 years has just dominated in not only in recruiting but in just being consistently great.
And that's one of my favorite hypotheticals in sports right now is if when Saban retires, does Dabo, the Alabama grad, leave Clemson for Bama?
I don't think he does. I think he has a great gig at Clemson. He's one of the highest paid coaches in college football. And I mean, I know a lot of Ohio State fans don't like him, but I mean, he's just a likable dude. He's just
we only don't like him at Ohio State because he told the number one offensive tackle in the country, who was from Cincinnati, that Urban Meyer was going to retire. So he decommitted from Ohio State and went to Clemson, and that irked us. But now he's on the Bengals, so I'm cool. Jackson Carman, if you didn't know who that was, but I think Jackson Carman's gonna be an outstanding NFL offensive lineman.
Yeah. So one of the best names in college football, Dabo. But yeah, so consistently great is Alabama, Ohio State, and you could argue that as much as Ohio State fans just hate them is Michigan.
Yeah.
Not so much over the last 3 years, but they just consistent
era.
Greatness is something that Michigan Wolverines have had for a while now.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And coming out of the Pac-12, the Oregon Ducks are another one that have just been great.
This one comes here from DeAndre. He says, I don't think they're on Clemson, Bama, or Ohio State's level, but a lot of people are quick to write off Oklahoma. Very much success underneath Bob Stoops, winning a championship, and then also the transition to Lincoln Riley has been a seamless one with Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, and now Spencer Rattler. Oklahoma always a top-tier team. I agree.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Lincoln Riley, of course, has had tremendous success. There are lots of rumors about him going to the NFL, but if I had a great gig at Oklahoma, one of the top football schools,
like Ryan Day at Ohio State, why would you leave a sure thing for a non-guaranteed?
Yeah, if I had a great gig at a big football school like Oklahoma, no way am I leaving. And he's had great players there: Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield. I mean, just to name a few. All three have had not so much Jalen Hurts yet, but they've had tremendous success in the NFL. That's all a credit to what Lincoln Riley has done at Oklahoma. I mean, they haven't won a whole lot in the playoff, but just the success that Oklahoma's had with Lincoln Riley as well as Bob Stoops at Oklahoma has been great. Another one that comes to mind for me is the University of Georgia, with Kirby Smart there at the helm.
Kirby Smart, yeah.
Yeah. So they've had great quarterbacks, guys like Jake Fromm. And they've been in the SEC championship, I think, each of the last 3 years. So, just to name a few for college football is just I mean, you could go down the list.
No doubt about it. And I think that college football might be one of the tougher ones because there's just so many good programs over the last couple of decades. I mean, they'd be in this conversation if they didn't have a 5 or 6 year rebuilding era after the scandal, but Penn State.
For sure.
All right, let's try college basketball. I
think this is going to be relatively an easy one.
Is it Duke? Is it Kentucky? Is it North Carolina? Is it Villanova?
I would argue that Duke is at the top of that conversation, strictly because of the success that Coach K has had there. I mean, and even the players come through, guys like Zion Williamson, Grayson Allen. I know this was before
Luke Kennard, baby, the Franklin, Ohio product out of the SWBL.
Exactly. I mean, just the success that Duke has had there. I know this is before the 21st century, but Christian Laettner was great when he was at Duke. Arguably the greatest college basketball player ever. But the talking strictly 21st century Kentucky with John Calipari has had, I mean, just unbelievable recruits there. Guys like Karl Anthony Towns.
No doubt.
I mean, you can go down the list of great Kentucky players to come out of there. And another one that comes to mind for college basketball for me is Tom Izzo at Michigan State.
It's a good one.
I mean, they haven't won the national championship since 2001, but being consistently.
Wright State beat them that year, by the way.
What was that?
Wright State beat them that year, by the way, at the Netter Center.
Did they really?
Izzo promised one of his recruits who was from Dayton that he'd play a game in Dayton so his family could come, and they played Wright State at the Netter Center, and Wright State beat them. It's the biggest win in program history. It's the only time Wright State's ever knocked off a number one.
All right, now you got me Googling stuff live on
I promise you. I know we've BS'd people in the past, but I'm not BSing you.
History of Raider basketball, the upset. I love this quote to open up the article. They say Christmas comes once, but I think it arrived one more time.
There you go.
I love that.
Yep.
An extra delivery from Santa is exactly what the Raiders needed.
Proud of. Yeah, no, I mean, this is live radio, folks. This is live right here. We're watching Parker Testa react to the greatest upset in Wright State history.
Fans stormed the court to celebrate the 53-49 victory. That's awesome.
Yep. And it was the year they won the national championship, too. So we're one of the few teams that can say we beat that national championship Michigan State team.
How about that?
Uh-huh.
Well,
another team that that I like that stood out. How about Syracuse with Jim Boeheim?
For sure. Yeah. Jim Boeheim, another great college coach. He's going to go down as he's I think he's already a Hall of Famer. He's going to go down as one of the greatest to ever coach in college basketball. And Syracuse with Carmelo Anthony there was just fantastic. And Carmelo Anthony is probably the greatest athlete to come out of Syracuse in quite a while. That's Jim Boeheim is a great one there for Syracuse. I mean, you could go. I mean, there's so many talented basketball programs. I mean, in recent years you could argue Gonzaga with Mark Few there at the helm, and I mean, college basketball's the one is really tough because, especially with the NCAA tournament, there's lots of upsets. There's lots of great teams that go down early. You could argue Tony Bennett at Virginia is one of the great ones in college basketball right now as well.
Yep. Crap! You stopped talking at a really bad time. No, I agree. Let's get to hockey because this one I only know like 3 teams, but
right.
I think it comes down. I think I'd put the Kings in this conversation. The LA Kings, they won a couple Stanley Cups in the early 2010s, but I think this one pretty much comes down to the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Detroit Red Wings, who went back and forth in the 2000s. The Penguins, I give a slight edge to because the Red Wings have been kind of mediocre throughout the 2010s, while the Penguins have continued success and won a couple more cups with Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin in that core. of players. So for hockey, I think it's the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, I would agree with you. As far as the greatest sports teams in their respective leagues, the Penguins have to take the cake on that one. I mean, you could argue for teams like Detroit, teams like the Chicago Blackhawks, teams
The
like
Blackhawks is a good one.
yeah, teams like the Washington or Capitals here in recent years.
Tampa
But
Bay Lightning, yeah,
yeah, for sure. But yeah, there's no doubt about it that Pittsburgh has to be at the top of that conversation in hockey.
no doubt about it. All right, well, our final sport that we will be doing today is the NBA, and for me, this might have been my hardest one because the first two, like I said yesterday, the first two that pop in my head when I think basketball are Lakers and Celtics. The Lakers won 3 championships in 2000, 2001, 2002 with Shaq and Kobe. They also won in 2010, so they have 4 rings. The Celtics won in 08, but they had the Pierce, Garnett, Ray Allen days, and now they have Tatum and Brown. So I think the Lakers knock off the Celtics. I think the Warriors are in that conversation with Curry and Clay and Durant and the runs they've gone on the last couple of years. I think it comes down, though, to the Lakers and this team who I gave the slight edge to over the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going with Coach Pop and the San Antonio Spurs.
Wow. Okay, I didn't think about that one.
Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, as well as Bruce Bowen, and then they bring in Kawhi Leonard in the 2010s. It's a team that won 5 rings together. I believe 4 of them were in the 2000s. The 21st century. So I'd give a slight edge to them over the Los Angeles Lakers just because I think they were a little more consistent with it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Another team that comes to mind for me is the Miami Heat. In the early 2010s is
Wade and Shaq, and then Bosh, Wade and LeBron. Mm-hmm.
Yep, for sure. But I think the one that takes the cake for me, as far as, I mean, they had a bit of a down stretch for a while, but the team for me that has been the most consistently great in the 21st century for me is the Los Angeles Lakers. And I don't disagree with you with the success that Coach Pop has had in San Antonio, but for me, it's the Lakers strictly because they've done some tremendous things, and with the greatness that Kobe Bryant had, and the continued greatness of LeBron in LA is
get the Diesel.
For sure. Shaq, Pau Gasol there when he was great.
Nash for a couple of years. I mean, they weren't great, but they had Steve Nash for a couple of years.
Yeah. Another one that I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me here, but the greatness of Reggie Miller in the early 2000s with the Pacers, as well as the
Granger and Paul George.
Yeah, Paul George, Danny Granger, Roy Hibbert, to go up against who was beaten by those Miami Heat teams in the early 2010s. Mm-hmm. So Indiana Pacers are in that conversation for me, even though they've been average at best over the last few years. The Pacers are in the conversation, but for me. But I
love this one. This is from. I'm sorry to cut you off. This is from Colin. He says, not Cowherd. I wish it was Cowherd, but Colin, we appreciate you nonetheless. But he says, I think we were robbed of a potential Trailblazers entry on this list when Greg Oden got hurt because of the days of Brandon Roy and Greg Oden in the 2000s. And then you get to the 2010s in the era of Dame and McCollum.
Sure.
Yeah. I didn't think about that, but you're right. If Oden stays healthy, Roy and Oden become a top duo in the league, and we know what Lillard and McCollum can do. So that's a good point. Portland could definitely have been in that conversation if Oden didn't get hurt.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. I mean, Portland is, we talked about the greatest sports cities yesterday. Portland's got to be in that conversation because the Trailblazers have been great consistently, like with Odom and with Roy, but just the success of Lillard and McCollum and even LaMarcus Aldridge when he was there have been great as well. So Portland definitely is in that conversation as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And let us know your thoughts throughout the course of the week on your teams that win the resume for best legacy in the last 28 years. All right. Well, we ran out of time today, Parker. I mean, we usually tend to run out of time, but
so one thing I want to touch on right quick before we end the show. Wright State graduate and Wright State Raider gang alum Peyton Burdick has had some success down with the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Had 3 hits last night, with that 3rd hit being a walk-off winner for the Blue Wahoos. So congratulations to Peyton Burdick on this really successful night and successful season down there in Pensacola.
Yeah, Birdie's doing some really cool things, and he might make his Miami Marlins debut sooner rather than later for sure. So very excited for him. He's another one of those guys like Quincy Hamilton that I saw the potential and I saw the ability, but he's blown me away with how good of a baseball player he's become. I knew Peyton Burdick would be a good baseball player. I didn't know he'd be this good of a baseball player.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, there's been it just shows the great success that Wright State baseball has had in recent years. With, Joe Smith is a graduate of Wright State, and he's had tremendous success as a reliever in the majors, as well as
Sean
guys
Murphy,
like
catcher for the A's.
exactly Peyton Burdick, Sean Murphy, I'm
Caleb
sure there's more.
Caleb Sampson's been absolutely nasty in the Rays system.
No doubt about it. So there's plenty of Wright State graduates that are having success in Major League Baseball. So congratulations to all of them, and we wish them the best.
Yeah, and it's only another year or so until we start saying names like Quincy Hamilton and Tyler Black and Jake Schrand and Bradley Bremer as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, that does it here for today's episode of Testa and Neal Keep It Real. Today's edition, I should say. It's not really an episode, whatever. But we appreciate you hanging out with us on WWSU 106.9 or on our YouTube feed at WWSU 1069. We appreciate you hanging out with us regardless of how you did it. Thank you for all the interactions on social media today. We had a lot of fun. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 1 to 3, right here on WWSU 1069. Parker, any closing thoughts?
Go Pacers.
Go Pacers. There you go. They got to knock off the Wizards to get in. All right. We'll see what happens tonight as well in the NBA with the Grizzlies and Spurs and the Lakers and Warriors. I'll be watching that one for sure. So until tomorrow, keep it real with Testa and Neal.